This is a video which will analyse the opening sequence to the TV series Wallander. The background music, begins immediately on the black screen, and then we fade into what looks like an ocean, and the camera cranes into an extreme long shot or an establishing shot of a rural area. It looks quite empty and we're still moving in. And then we come across what looks like a car, possibly a police car or something, and it's just parked there in the middle of just a track, not a proper road, but a track, and there seem to be two figures hastily walking away from it. The camera continues to go over these different objects, the people and the car, and the music, the backing track, seems to become high-pitched as it goes along, and it has this high pitch where it just cuts as soon as it goes over, and we change to the shot of these two girls, but we cannot see them. We're looking at them from the back. So the way this is being filmed, their identities are concealed from us before we get into it. Let's continue playing it. The girls are walking away, so they must be walking away from the car based on the previous shot, and we now have a shot from what we'll presume is inside the car, which is possibly a taxi, because there is an ID on the window screen that reads taxi, and it's got a face on it. We can't see the face properly. We don't know who this is. It's clearly a taxi driver's ID, but we're asking ourselves, is that the taxi driver? Is that the taxi driver we got in front of us? Plus, it's a motionless body and there's blood on the windscreen, so is this person dead? What's happened to them? These girls walking away from it for a reason. We don't know yet. We'll have to continue on. And we've now got a shot of the girls from the side. You see the girl in the foreground has her hair done up, she's wearing a leather jacket, large hoop earrings, she's got red in her hair. She comes across as quite the rebellious character. She's got a stern, quite cold look in her face. So you can definitely tell that she's quite a tough character. In comparison, the girl next to her, with her hair done up, no different colours put into it, just a normal cotton jacket. She's quite plain. You tell she's different to the character here in the foreground, and also she has a different facial expression to the girl in the foreground. She looks like she's a bit more distressed, so perhaps they do know what's happened in this car. Perhaps they were in this car. We don't know. Neither of them have said anything. Now we have a extreme close-up of what could be the taxi driver's face, and it's he's been violently beaten. He's got blood around his face, his eye is completely swollen, his head is resting on the car wheel, and it does not look like he's moving, so an audience would think straight off that he's dead. But now you can see that his eye is quivering quite a bit, so the audience will think, okay, he's injured, he's not dead, so what's happened to him? But the next shot we have here is of the two girls, cameras in front of them, and the one on the left, the rebellious looking character. We can see she's got a sort of dog tag with a razor on it, and that just further enforces this idea of the tough character. But she's also got blood on her face, so now the audience definitely knows that they've been near this car that has been left behind them. You can see it behind them, out of focus slightly, The door's left open. They've clearly left it in a rush. And the ideas that are going through the audience's head is that these girls have done something to this taxi driver. And they're walking away. The breathing is quite heavy. Another close-up shot of his hand, of the taxi driver ID covered in blood. And we're back to this girl again, the rebellious one with blood and dirt on her face. So they clearly have been involved in it. And they're just walking away now. More shots of the blood. Now we have this key ring with the man that's being violently beaten in the front of the car next to another figure that we don't know. Their face is slightly obscured by the blood on the keychain. But a shot like this, sort of like, it makes the man at the front of the car look more humane, more innocent, because it looks like he's got a family. And because of that, the audience is sort of, they have this idea that these girls are more of the vicious characters, that they must have done this out of, well, for no reason. These are tough characters on an innocent family man. And this shot right here, what I presume is the rebellious girl's hand, it's completely bloody, and it has a knife with blood in it that she has just dropped to the ground and just left there. So it is now completely obvious that they have done something to this man, and to have the rebellious, the cold, the tough girl carrying the weapon, an audience would think that this was something with no reason, it was just a violent attack by her, and maybe that this other girl, the plain one, was sort of friend dragged into it. We don't know. The introduction, or the opening for this, doesn't appear to be filmed clips. It's a lot of editing. It's gone to a yellow screen with black sharp shape come down like a knife, like the knife maybe that the girl was holding, and it shows the names, and it's the names of the main cast. So we have the name, shown, just a moment. So we have Kenneth Branagh, who must be the main character here, and as another cut or slash comes down of black comes down across this yellow screen, it splits and it shows this character's face in blue. And the music that plays over it, it's not as much soothing, but it's kind of ominous. There's a quick showing of the name of the program, Wallander, and then we go on to other titles such as written by Richard McBrien and Richard Cotton, and more shots of, presumably, the main character, and based on Firewall by Henning Mankell, executive producer. The shapes now definitely show they're forming something, and at the end it comes out to be the word Wallander, the title of the program.